Now that I have placed all of my walls and modeled all of my components, I'm ready to create rooms in Revit. Up to this point, we've been using a text box to represent the name of a room, but in Revit there's an actual function where we can create rooms. We can label these rooms, and that way as we go from view to view, the room names will always be the same and they'll always be consistent. So I'm going to come up here in the architecture tab and hit room, and then you'll notice as I hover over that you'll see that this kind of X appears in my rooms, and that's showing me where I'm placing my rooms at. So I'm going to start right here, and once I've clicked and placed the room, you'll see that it's turned blue, and that's to tell me that I've already placed a room in there and that I don't need to place a room in there again. So I'm just going to click and just place all of my rooms, and then I'll get to this area and you'll notice that that's all one area, and I don't want that to be one area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to a room separation line, and I'll just draw this where I want to have different rooms. So I'm going to put one here to divide my hallway from my kitchen, and the reason that this is that Revit uses the walls as the boundary for the room. So that's fine when your room has walls on all four sides, but sometimes, like between this great room and our kitchen area, where we want these to be two separate rooms, but we don't necessarily want to draw a wall between those. So I'm just going to draw a wall, or draw this room separation line just across like this. And now when I come to place rooms, you'll see that it gives me a space for each of these individually. And then the next thing I gotta do is come in here and rename all of these. So I'm gonna call this one my living room, garage, kitchen, and so forth. The next thing that we need to do is look at the room numbers. Now Revit will remember things and do it sequentially. So you'll notice it started with 100 right here, and then went to 101, then 102, then 103, and then 104. Typically, on your first floor, your room numbers are going to start with a 1 to represent floor 1. So when I go to my basement, I would start with a 0, and then if I had a second floor, my room number would start with a 2. And so you'll notice if I just change this, I'm just going to change this to 200. And then if I come in here and draw a room separation line, and now when I tag this room, it's going to get tagged as 201 because I changed that to 200. So at any time, if you need to change your room numbers, all you got to do is just click here. So I don't want that one to be 200. So I'm going to switch this back to 108. And then I'm going to call this my entry. And I want to label this one as 109. And if I try to label this as 109, I'm going to get this error. It's going to say elements have duplicate values. So that's just telling me that, like, hey, there's already a room 109. Are you sure you want to do that? And in this case, it's okay because I'm just going to come to the garage. I'm going to change this from 109 to 110. So that's just Revit trying to make sure that you don't have any duplicates when you're doing your numbering. But after that, all of my room numbering is set, and I just need to do this on all of my floors. And then this is set up so that when we make a duplicate of this view, we don't have to keep renaming these rooms as we start setting up our other views.